Hello. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Mothman Prophecies by John Keel. This book was published in 1975. I took an interest in this book because I had seen the movie when it came out all those many years ago. I was a teenager then. And I absolutely loved the movie. It creeped me out. My favorite kind of horror movies are like paranormal horror, supernatural horror. So this book was right up that alley. This is the only book I've ever read by John Keel. I have another book by John Keel right back there. I think it's called Our Haunted Planet, which I plan to read very soon. So anyways, I guess I'll give a little bit of a summary of the book and give you some of my thoughts on the book. The book begins with an interesting encounter that some college kids have at an abandoned TNT facility in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Occurrences in this book are happening like in the 60s. In the late 60s or so, John Keel was a part of many of the occurrences that happened. He went down there to investigate and became sort of embroiled in all of the paranormal drama and occurrences that were happening. So anyways, these college kids were riding around in like a sports car in the late 60s, right? They were out late at night near this abandoned TNT facility that they have in Point Pleasant, midnight or so. And as they were out there just riding around in their car, they sort of spotted a strange looking figure outside of the TNT facility. The figure that they spotted was all black and it had long wings. The figure also had large red eyes. Okay, so the terrified group of college students, they stepped on the gas of the sports car and just sort of yelled, "Let's get out of here," you know. As they sped away, the creature spread its bat-like wings and took off into the air. The college students said, "My God, the creature is following us." The couple in the back seat sort of like was screaming out, driving over 100 miles an hour, okay, in their sports car, and the creature was able to keep right up with them. The creature followed them all the way to the city limit, and then it flew away. Okay, so this group of college students were terrified. So that's one of the first occurrences that happens in the book that I thought was actually fascinating. The book, John Keel goes on to discuss sightings of this creature with black wings who's a Mothman-like creature, right? There's many accounts of this kind of creature appearing in different parts of the world and throughout history. So he sort of has a collection of accounts of this kind of people spotting this kind of creature not only around the world, but all throughout the past, which I thought was rather interesting. There are also some great accounts of people seeing a winged man or a beast standing on the ground and then levitating by flapping its wings, okay? So a lot of the book sort of focuses on Mothman, which is very interesting and very creepy as well. But there are also a number of unexplained occurrences that he goes on to talk about. One big aspect of the book are UFO encounters. The people in Point Pleasant were seeing unidentified flying objects often. A lot of people were having experiences where they would see things that they didn't know what they were looking at. It happened at least on a weekly basis. It happened to John Keel and many other characters or people in this book. It even became like Point Pleasant at this time became a hotspot for UFO activity. People would drive like maybe even 100 miles from different places to come see unflying lights. They would gather in large groups late at night in different points of Point Pleasant, sort of like watch the sky and witness a lot of these unexplained phenomena. So UFO activity is featured greatly in this book, which I thought was very fascinating. Other than uh, people witnessing UFOs, there are also accounts of people being abducted by UFOs. All throughout the book, John Keel is very sort of critical of the UFO phenomena. He doesn't just take it at face value. He pokes a little bit of fun at people who thinks that these are just like spacemen from outer space, like aliens and things like that. He thinks that it's something a little bit more complicated, that definitely there is a phenomena of UFOs going on, but he doesn't chuck it up to be just aliens. He thinks that it might be something paranormal, something psychic. So he sort of gives different theories about what it could possibly be, right? So some of the people in the book report being abducted by UFOs, abducted by like specific sort of beings, almost like a specific being, like one being continues to make contact with like these one or two people, and they come to know the person who comes from outer space. The being takes some of these people in the book on like a spaceship and takes them to the moon, to different planets, and the people sort of give John Keel an account of what they experience. Again, John Keel is critical of these abduction stories. Not so much that the people are not experiencing something, he believes that they are, but that maybe they are misunderstanding the experience that they're having. UFOs, abductions are a large part of this book. Another aspect of this book that I thought was very interesting are many accounts of men in black type figures. Just people who would show up very soon after people had these paranormal experiences. These weird people would show up wearing very strange clothing with skin that looked very strange. They talked very strange. They were very out of place in Point Pleasant, but also in the time period. It's almost like these people came out of like the 1940s, were wearing the clothes that people wore in the 1940s. They spoke in an outdated sort of way, and they even drove cars that hadn't been seen for 20 or 30 years. Now, the cars that these people drove, these men in black, were brand new. They were brand new, like if they had just been bought, right? But these cars were maybe 30, 40 years old, okay? So I thought that was very interesting. In the book that I thought was interesting about UFO landing on, let's just say, like a field in Point Pleasant, like a very deserted, remote area where they were around this place. This UFO sort of comes down to the field. It opens up some kind of door, and these men in black figures come out of the UFO. And as they're coming out of the UFO, a car drives up to the UFO, and the men get into the car and drive off, right? So it's like these men in black type figures are, we don't know, they might be coming from another place, from another world, but it's sort of like a funny account of like them coming in a UFO and then immediately like being picked up in a car and driving away. So that was a very kind of funny account, I thought. Anyways, so yeah, so this was a great read for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very creepy. It was certainly a page turner. You want to just continue to read to try to get down to the mystery. Like, what the heck is going on in this place? And I think that John Keel does a great job of sort of theorizing about what these things can be. And also giving like maybe unpopular or yeah, unpopular opinions about what really might be going on. That is not just like the Hollywood, these are aliens from outer space. He sort of approaches it with a lot more sort of nuance. So, anyways, very much enjoyed it. Would highly recommend the Mothman Prophecies if you haven't seen it. I want to rewatch the movie. The movie is certainly not as obviously in depth as the book, as the movie mostly focuses on Mothman. Not all of the other aspects of the book that I was kind of going over. So, anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.